VCs in a Van follows a team of venture capitalists who visit and invest in growing companies. You want to learn about a business? You want to invest in a business? Then you have to visit that business.
GoShare connects drivers who have trucks and vans with people who need help moving or delivering on demand.
Essentially what Jeremy and I have done was take our 40 plus years combined behind the bar and took the knowledge and experiences from that, and we decided to design some new bar tools.
Tom Tully, Mark Bowles, and Neil Centuria are seasoned entrepreneurs, and they find out what's for real and what is not.
I hear semantics. I haven't heard the number. I just want numbers to come out of your mouth. How much revenue are you going to do in the next 3 months, 6 months, and a year?
No, this is like, you can't be serious.
I've built a lot of companies. I've always had a plan to make money. It might not have been this year, it might not have been next month, but there's a plan to make money.
No, we can't do that. We can't lose 300 grand.
We've already lost most of it.
You can't lose that. It's hard to find it. It could be under a bush.
You have to sell this problem, and I love that part of the story because once you become aware, and it's really easy, you're doing it wrong.
Either you have too much burn rate, not enough revenue, not enough margin, or you're a software company.
And VCs in a Van allows the audience at home to participate or invest also. All of this and more on this season of VCs in a Van.
If you want my money, I think you should treat it with a bit more dignity and respect.
So as we've discussed, we're going to work the next few weeks on a couple of areas. One in the gig economy or the sharing economy market that is so hot right now. And second, we're going to focus on consumer food and beverage and some of the interesting technologies and trends that are going on in that space and try to get some companies that are hot. So we've looked at, 50, 60 companies, and we've identified a few that we should go visit. But
did we find anything that grows truffles?
We've not gotten that, but there's a pig farm down the street which we can invest in that.
Truffles are hot.
All right.
It's hard to grow them.
Let me make a note of that.
If we find a truffle company, I'm all in.
All right. So I thought we'd start off with our marketing genius and our team here, giving us a little bit of background on those two spaces. So why don't we start with the sharing economy, sometimes called a double-sided marketplace. Mark, why don't you start and give us a little highlights on what that space is like and what should we be looking at?
So I had Jeremy and Rose take a deeper look, but the highlight of the gig economy is really that the opportunity still left there is massive. And that goes way beyond just sharing cars and houses, the Airbnbs and the Ubers and Lyfts. There's a migration now of B2B stuff that's pretty interesting. Nuts and bolts.
Business to business. Is that
exactly.
What you mean by B2B?
Business to business. In 2016, there was $420 million invested into 420 different startups. They say the sharing economy sector will be worth $350 billion by 2025.
Wow.
A lot of that growth is going to come from B2B stuff. And so I think there's some opportunities there we should look at.
Excellent.
We use the term gig economy and shared economy. Examples of a gig economy would be like Uber, where you're using your car to provide a service that a taxi would otherwise do. A shared economy might be an example like Airbnb or VRBO, where you take a latent asset like your house and provide rooms like a hotel would do. Rose, you took a deeper look at the shared economy sector. Why don't you add to what I've told the team here and tell me what your insights are?
Right, so the B2B shared economy investments, like you said, Mark, have been trending up. 150 million have already been invested in this space into companies like construction equipment, rentals, and many sector opportunities still remain. And there's also the B2C market is also growing. The shared economy investments have moved well beyond ride sharing and the home rentals. Trending startups offering, the shared workspaces, pet sitting, logistics, $2 billion have already been invested in this sector as well.
We use the term B2B and B2C. B2B means that the company primarily sells business to business, and B2C means that the company primarily sells business to consumer.
Well, you're in a millennial generation. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I regularly use Airbnb whenever I travel. My neighbor uses Wags to walk her dog. One issue that I see arising though, especially for Airbnb, is the regulatory side of things. There's a lot of cities that are cramming down on, they don't get the tax revenue from the hotels and the hotel revenue.
Okay, so that's great. That's a very good overview of what's going on. So I've selected a couple of companies that we've done some level of due diligence that seems to fit what we're going to do on the gig economy. There are two companies. One's called Wrapify, and that's a company that uses people who own cars. They wrap them with advertising, and the drivers get paid X amount of dollars a month depending on how much they drive. And it's kind of like billboard advertising on your car in a very high-tech way. So I'm interested in seeing how that works.
That sort of fits that B2B thesis. That
Exactly, right. So you got a lot of diligence there. Work hard.
Diligence, baby.
And be ready to go. All right? Any questions? All right,
do it.
let's do it. Thank you. Okay, guys, we're on our way to go see Wrapify. It's the cool company that wraps your cars and shows you a way to advertise without having buying billboard advertising. I'm going to run the video in just a second, but any opening comments before we run video?
Yeah, my comment is I read this report from James Heller, the CEO, and I found it to be candid and very intelligent. There's some problems he's facing, but the willingness to discuss them and understand them and learn from them, that's a positive in a CEO.
Absolutely. So let's see the video and then we'll chat about it. Mark, could you roll video?
Welcome to Wrapify, the app that pays you to advertise on your car. You're a driver. You spend an average of 100 minutes on the road every day, going to work, school, the store, a fun weekend getaway, whatever it is you love. What if you could actually be making money when you get behind the wheel? Wrapify is the app that makes it possible. As soon as an advertising partner is available in your area, we'll get your vehicle wrapped quickly and conveniently, so you can hit the road and start making money and put cash in your pocket. The wrapping process is fast, safe, stylish, and at the end of your campaign, it comes off clean. If you're not using Wrapify, you're missing out on hundreds of extra dollars every month. Make every mile count. Download the Wrapify app and get started today.
I know that you know more about this than I do, but I'm reading Heller's report, and I gotta love this guy. After explaining that they're running out of cash and they've got some problems, he says options. One option is do another convertible note. Says it'll be dilutive, but will give us the runway. You need to yell at him and say dilution is meaningless. Building the company is what you're about. So if you can get a convertible note, you should take it. Number two, he says, flush $6.1 million and 2 years of blood, sweat, and tears down the toilet. He puts in parentheses, that's not an option. I love that. Failure is not an option, or giving up. And then he asks, are there other viable options? I love this guy. I've never met him. I don't know if I'll invest in him. He's got problems, he's losing money, blah, blah, blah. But his awareness is hugely engaging. Tom, what cities is Wrapify in today? And I'll tell you why I ask. Knowing nothing, the city I'd pick is Las Vegas. The way this would work the best, again, I think, is I want the advertising to be in the densest, most packed place I can get. If I could put it inside a convention center, I would do it. So of all the streets in the United States, you can be sure the Strip is one and Fifth Avenue in New York is the other.
Where is he in the market? So not only where is he now, where is he going, what's his expense, how much it costs when he goes into a new market?
And that's a great question. If he's not in Las Vegas, what does it cost to go to Vegas or Seattle or Portland or Billings, Montana? What does it take to launch in a city?
Some of the things I think I'd like to dive into, obviously, is this market going? They've been in business for a little. Is this market actually growing? Are they having success? What market you're in? What's the cost to enter a market? What does the competition look like?
What's the repeat user on the advertiser side?
Right, repeatability. What are some key things we need to make sure we ask when we go in?
I actually have one last question. If I'm Budweiser, how do you prove to me the return on investment? In other words, the car rode around, there were a lot of people looking. Trust me, it worked. And Budweiser's going to say, can you give me something that tells me how many actually people, and within, so for example, not only how many people saw it, but what action did they take within, let's say, 72 hours?
Having worked with Mark as my marketing guy and several companies, that was a problem I always would struggle with. He wants a bunch of money. I'm going to spend it in his ear, and like, well, what am I getting for it? And he'd hand wave, and he'd say, just trust me.
Oh, wait.
I'm like, Mark,
Okay.
I'm an ops guy.
Okay.
Tell me the answer.
No, so James gives you a tool where I can walk back into Tom and go, this is how many eyeballs saw it.
It's not
There's a cause and
exactly
effect.
one for one.
But it's better than
close
most of
enough. But you
the
can't.
crap that
Don't
he
give
gives
me.
me.
Don't wave
Just
your
give me
arms.
more money.
You're going to give me
Give
the
me more
arm
money.
wave.
Give me
which
more
is,
money.
Trust, there's lots of eyeballs, and we're disseminating, and we're populating, and we're matriculating. Give me a break.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
Nice to
Jimmy, Professor.
Hey there.
How are you?
Good to see you.
All right. James, I'd love to sit down and talk about your business and understand a little bit more, but can you have one of your guys show us a little bit about how the process of making the wraps are and wrapping a car? Can you walk me through something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. A bunch of crews over here.
All right.
Hey Nate, can you quick crews over here and show Tom how this all works?
Absolutely. So once an advertiser has a design that they want to put on the road, that design is sent to Lisa. Once Lisa translates that design onto every car that would participate on the campaign, she hands the print-ready design over to Chris. Chris will take that design and send it to the printer. Once it's done being printed, we laminate and finish the graphic, and then we get ready to wrap it up.
So James, that was really cool seeing the cars wrapped and the printing press and all that. Now let's talk some business questions. I for one, am a little confused about this whole out-of-home market and advertising, and how do you compete against billboards and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's two ways of looking at that. One is Wrapify going to disenfranchise the out-of-home advertising industry? I'd say on the small level, maybe, but by and large, most of the people that are leveraging Wrapify alongside their traditional out-of-home spend. Mm-hmm. Wrapify is really great, not only in markets where there's limited out-of-home options, but it really complements an out-of-home like a billboard buy or a transit buy, especially in areas where there isn't billboards or there isn't transit. So that's where we've been seeing a lot of market adoption.
Tell me a little bit about, you see the differentiator, what is great about Wrapify? What are you bringing, the new technology you're bringing to the table that hasn't existed before?
We're the first technology platform that facilitates a two-sided marketplace of everyday consumer drivers and advertisers that want to be able to actually measure and scale this type of advertising on vehicles nationwide. So we're the first to do that.
Okay.
The other is the metrics that we're able to provide. So live data, being able to provide impression data for this unique ad medium. Before Wrapify, wrapping cars was a novelty. It was not scalable. There was no real way of being able to actually measure it. We're the first company to actually make wrapping vehicles a scalable ad medium and a ad medium that you can actually measure.
After the break,
How much money do you want now?
Right now,
Yeah.
$5 million.
Take a check.
do you ever need a friend with a truck? GoShare connects drivers who have trucks and vans with businesses and people who need help moving, delivering, or hauling large items on demand. All of our drivers are licensed, insured, and background checked. Your driver will help you load and deliver your items when you need it. Prices start at only 99 cents per minute. Get a free price estimate and book a driver with a truck at GoShare.com or download the free GoShare app. We are your friend with a truck.
out there for a while. Tell me how the out-of-home media buyer is valuing that piece. Is it a big deal, a small deal? The feedback and the real-time metrics on how many eyeballs.
I think that what we're seeing on the out-of-home media buying space, they really love the metrics. But the VPs of marketing, the CMOs, that's the differentiator. That's why they're leveraging Wrapify, and why other companies that have tried to do similar things in the past never ever saw scale. So I think that's the real catalyst for our business.
So if I put on my out-of-home media buying hat, which I've worn in the past, I would be really tempted to try this because there's not much innovation in that space, right? Biplanes, and this is a pretty interesting path. Are you getting repeat users, people that try it and then say that really works and I'm coming back?
Yeah, so we're now in our second full year of business, and we're actually starting to see that. So Anheuser-Busch, for instance, they're onto their second campaign with us. Lyft, they've run several campaigns with us. So we're seeing a lot of these initial test buys turn into more meaningful multi-market buys, which is great.
Can you go through the numbers? What does a buy consist of?
Sure. So an average campaign on a per market basis is typically anywhere between 50,000 to north of 100,000 for a single market, and a multi-market buy could be upwards of $1 million.
Single market, how many cars do you wrap for 100 grand for how many weeks for what they hope?
Sure. So 25 cars fully wrapped for 6 months. That would be probably right around $100,000.
And of that, how much does a driver make?
Our average,
you get 25 drivers or you get 50 drivers?
It really depends, but on the driver side, our average drivers are making between $300 and $400 a month, and sometimes even more by leveraging a few features that we have that allow them to actually earn even more than what they're just earning on the mile.
So they go about their usual life, and they make $400 a month more by just driving.
Yep, we're paying them to do what they already do.
Mark and I have worked together in several companies, and he's always been the marketing guy asking me, give me a bunch of money, and I'd say, well, and what are you going to give me? And he would hand wave and all this sort of stuff. So, yeah. So it sounds like you have a little bit better ability to give the buyer some answers to how his spend is actually being used and what uptake may be and things like that. So go through that a little bit more. What do you think your value add there is?
Aside from being able to provide guys like Mark with a catalyst to do more hand waving, we provide brand marketers and data-driven marketers with hard data. So we're able to show them impression data, the mileage of where these cars actually traveled, heat maps, and a handful of other data visualization around the performance of these campaigns. That's one huge reason. And then we also have other features on the platform that allow you to drive impressions into specific areas, features like hotspots and swarm. These are also features that allow drivers to earn even more money.
Tell me a little bit about that, because I read about Swarm. That seemed like a really interesting feature. Tell me about that.
Swarm actually is the feature that allows brand advertisers to push a notification to its campaign drivers to drive around a specific place at a specific time. So you can use that for sporting events, big conventions. We have Comic-Con here in San Diego, so if you wanted cars driving around Comic-Con and the roadways that surround the San Diego Convention Center, that's the feature that you'd use to use it.
Very cool.
Let's do some numbers.
Yeah, I think you said what? You've been in business for 2 years? How's revenue's been?
Just shy of 2 years. Last year we did just under 2 million, and we're pushing super hard this year.
Help us understand, some of the challenges you ran into, how you're fixing them, what the future looks like.
Well, with Wrapify, it's just been this month over month, 50+% month over month growth. Forbes 30 under 30 being featured in all these things. So it seemed like we were untouchable.
Yeah.
And then we had to deal with our first.
You got touched.
Yeah, we got touched. We got touched. We had our first pivot where we executed on a strategy that didn't work, and we responded a little too late to it because we thought we were untouchable.
So I understand you have a strategic investor in Avery Dennison. I've had strategics. Sometimes they're fantastic. Sometimes they're a problem. Hopefully the positives outweigh the negatives. But from a new investor potentially coming in, I'm always concerned about what kind of a deal do they have, how are they helping the company. Just give me a little bit about your relationship with Avery.
By and large, Avery Dennison's been amazing, and they've also been with us since the very beginning. There are other players in the materials space of our business, but Avery's been by our side, providing us with tons of product support, being able to make it so that we could scale this business, and Avery's been able to help us with that.
How much money do you want now?
Right now?
Yeah.
$5 million.
Take a check?
I'd take a check from right now.
For what VCs in the van do, we try to help you get to a next milestone. That's where we try to come in. Is it you're good right now? You have plenty of dollars to get you to that $5 million raise. You're looking for a bridge to it. You're looking for some other sort of financing. What is there anything in between? What are you looking there?
I think right now we're really focused on getting the business to a $5 million revenue run rate by Q1 of 2018. That's actually like what we're most focused on. So we think that we could get to a $5 million run rate by the tail end of Q1.
James, things sound good. You're a charming guy. Would you consider sort of a small bridge investment from the Van Boys at a attractive valuation for us?
I'd consider one at a healthy valuation.
Yeah, but maybe it wouldn't be so healthy for us.
Well,
Healthy for who?
He thinks he doesn't need us now, but they always come back. And when they come back, then it's my turn. All right, guys, well, that was interesting. James had some pretty high views of his company, but pretty interesting. What do you guys think?
He's feeling pretty confident.
He is.
Well, he's
But
feeling
also-
confident about his company, but he wasn't so confident about his revenue.
Yeah.
But he has gone from 2 years from 0 to 2 million in the first year and to maybe 4 million this year. That's a good accomplishment. but not what he set up.
Wait. No, he didn't say 4. He doesn't get 4. He's got 1 this year, and he's trying to have a big fourth quarter. It's a deal we should try to get into maybe somehow, sort of. The way to think about it is, what's the best way to do it? We're not going to give him $5 million on a 25 valuation. Maybe we should discuss convertible debt, a bridge round, buy some stock from someone else. He's got this strategic partner, and one of the problems in strategics is they are not valuation sensitive. They're interested, in his case, is where his strategic provides the material that wraps, and they drive revenue for themselves, they get brand awareness. So a strategic says, is it good for my company? And by the way, I'd like to be involved with you. Whereas an investor says, yeah, that's nice. What I'd like is a really good return from me and my partners.
Show me the money.
So the concern is we might get a shot at this bridge round, because if he gets a big deal, we're probably out. If he doesn't get a big deal or doesn't hit the revenue, then maybe he has to come back and do a little bit of begging, a little bitty beg, and we get back in with a couple $300,000 on a note, but at a reduced valuation.
And I would like the van to own a piece of this company at the appropriate valuation for what it is today. And that is not what he's talking about. If he changes the revenue position and he goes back to 2x revenue ramp, and you can show that people are doing repeat business, then I believe he can get that valuation.
Here's the thing I like about James is he admits when he's made a mistake and he's open about it, and I think he has a little bit of intimidation about how to deal with those shark-infested waters, and I think we can add a lot of value on that. I think the man can.
So maybe we can do if we decide to come back with an offer, because that's kind of how we left it, is maybe we will, maybe we won't, at the right valuation. So a small amount of money at the appropriate valuation might be enough to help him through this troubling times.
I believe he's going to come back to you.
Yes, that's it.
So I don't want to. I'm not chasing him, because he feels good. He's charming. He's handsome. He's verbal. He's got a business. He says he's in an inflection point for another 30 days. He's in a double hang. But sweetie, when darkness arrives, you got to buy a flashlight, and that is you.
Yeah, so I am totally in favor. Let's wait this one out. Let's see what happens. He's not going to suddenly nail 3 deals and it goes to the moon on valuation. If he fixes his problem, he'll start to change. He'll start to come out of it. He's not going to do this again. He'll say, I see that I can fix it. That's still a good time for us to get involved. If it keeps going the wrong way, well, then it's coming begging big time, and it may not be a good time, or it's a time for us to get a little more aggressive. But it's not going to go, oh shoot, we just missed it, and now we're at 25 valuation and we don't want to buy in.
Yeah, I think we ought to call him back and tell him we're here to support him on the strategic navigating that stuff, and see if that's the door that we can open.
He's got a bunch of investors that have been in his early days when they first got started. Maybe we could buy a little chunk of equity just so we're in the game and we're watching from existing investors. Not a new round for him. We could buy a little chunk, we learn a little bit more about the company, we get on the inside, and then we're in a better position to maybe provide an offer in the future. What do you think about that? We might want to investigate that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we got to sell them on our value to get through the strategic stuff. And I think we can add that value.
Okay, I'll make that phone call, talk to him a little bit about the value we can add, and see if there's a deal for us. But I'm not going to be coming up with any valuation numbers. I'm going to basically let him come back to me on, can you use us and what would you pay for us? Good day of filming, and that's a wrap.
When we make an investment in a company in debt, when we lend money, we usually get warrants. And warrants is a phrase, a term that allows us to buy equity in the company in the future. We get a chance to look, and in the future, if it's gone well, we exercise our warrant and acquire additional ownership.
VCs in a Van allows qualified individuals to invest in any of the companies featured on the show. To invest, go to vcsinavan.com. You may even be selected to be on the show. Do you have a compelling product, service, company story, or technology? Would you like your company to be featured on VCs in a Van? In addition to presenting to the VCs, your company or product will be seen by our television audience of potential customers and affiliates. Please contact us at wanttobeyonshow@vcsinavan.com and www.vcsinavan.com.
How much money do you want now?
Right now,
Yeah.
$5 million.
Take a check.
Next week on VCs in a Van.
Either you have too much burn rate, not enough revenue, not enough margin, or you're a software company.
Those are ridiculous multiples, and the reason why it's ridiculous is because it's not fast enough growth.